Okay, so for the next part, we're going to do this. Here. So we're going to now answer this kind of question. We want a quadratic function such that such that the vertex is this point, 1, 4, and such that the quadratic function passes through the point 2, 6. We want to find a quadratic function, not a graph, an actual formula. And that's what's nice about this form, the vertex form. I think that's what I called it. Once you know the vertex, you can really easily plug it in. That is, from this form, you can easily get the vertex. Namely, the point HK is the vertex. I mean, you could use the other form, ax squared plus bx plus c, but this form is a little bit easier because we have the vertex. So HK is the vertex, so HK must equal 1, 4. And when 2 points are equal, corresponding coordinates are equal. So their x coordinates, h and 1, are equal. And k and 4 are also equal, as you can see. All right. So that tells us right away that f of x looks like this, a times x minus 1 squared plus 4. But are we done? No, we have to figure out what a is. That's what the other point gives us. Namely, we have to figure out what a is, but we know that 2, 6 is on the graph. You know, the graph passes through this point. So that means it must be a solution of the equation. So if x is 2, f of x, f of 2 that is, excuse me, must be 6, as I wrote down here. Again, since the graph, the parabola, passes through this point, meaning this point is on the parabola, we must have this holding. This has to happen. Okay, well, let's use that. We get 6 is equal to, when x is 2, so a times 2 minus 1 squared plus 4. 6 is a times 2 minus 1 squared plus 4. That's what we get. And this, of course, we can work with this. We get a times 1 squared plus 4, which, of course, is a plus 4. So now we can get a. You know, a's are unknown. So we have 6 here is a plus 4. We just solve for a. That's what I'm doing here. You know, we subtract. We get 2 equals a. But it's really better to have the unknown on the left-hand side. So we get a equals 2. I mean, theoretically, what's above here is right. But as a convention, people put the unknown on the left-hand side. So altogether, we get a is 2, and this is our quadratic function. Okay. Are there any questions on this example? I don't think I graphed it. No, I didn't. Okay.
I have not really well, yeah, it is a question.
Yeah.
Another way to find a, couldn't you just do the basic slope of y minus y over x minus x?
No, that's only for lines. We're not working with lines here.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question. You cannot use slope like whoever that was saying. Who was that? As Lucas was saying, because that's only for straight lines. We're not working with a straight line here, right? What we're working with is a quadratic. Okay? So unfortunately, slope, like you were saying, does not come into play here. Okay? Awesome question. Any other questions? Okay. Let's do another one. So here's another one. Now the vertex is 3, 5, and it passes through the point -1, 4, -4. So this is our vertex now. This here, right? It passes through this point. Okay, so we have the vertex. We're going to use this form. Okay, so again, since this is the vertex, we have this equation just like before. So h must equal 3, k must equal 5. So h is 3, k is 5. Okay, that's good. That tells us at least that f of x looks like this. I mean, we don't know what a is yet, but we know it has to look something like this. And again, make sure you're showing your work like I'm doing on these examples. I know there's Desmos, and I guess you could figure, I mean, some people could try getting A by guessing, but again, it's really better to show your work and approach it the way I'm approaching it. All right. So we know this is on the parabola. This is a solution then to this equation. In other words, if x is -1, f of that must be -4. F of -1 then must be -4. Again, this is on the parabola. So let's use that. We have -4 is a times -1 minus 3 squared plus 5. So that's what we get here. And what is this equal to? Well, this is a times -4 squared plus 5, which is a times 16 plus 5. So again, we could figure out what a is. We have that equation. I wrote it as 16a. I really don't like writing it this way. Again, a is the unknown. So I put the number in front. But you solve for a now. You want to isolate your a. So what do? We subtract 5, right? Let's get the 5 out of there. We have -9 is 16a. Then we divide both sides by 16. Okay? And we get a is -9 over 16. You don't have to write also fractions in lowest terms. I mean, this one you can. But again, you don't have to do that on the exam. I mean, I know theoretically you're supposed to know that coming into class, but still, I didn't really go over it. So I didn't review it at all either. So any fraction, you don't have to write in lowest terms. Now that we have a, we have our function. You can always check by graphing it if you want to, but you don't have to.